Step into the unknown with the shadow frequency and your host, Matt Wilson, as he takes you where the shadows hum.
Welcome, listeners, to another chilling episode of The Shadow Frequency, where we dive into the eerie and unknown. I'm Juniper, your producer, and tonight we're pulling back the veil on a place steeped in history and restless spirits. Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. From spectral soldiers in tattered uniforms to whispers in the dark, this military post holds secrets that refuse to stay buried. So dim the lights, settle in, and let the shadows guide you. Here's your host, Matt Wilson.
Good evening, Shadow Seekers. Matt Wilson here, and tonight we're stepping onto haunted ground. Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. A place where history and the paranormal collide like a musket shot in the dead of night. Established in 1827, this military post is the oldest active fort west of the Mississippi, a sentinel of America's frontier, the Civil War, and beyond. But it's not just soldiers and strategy that linger here. The air is thick with stories of ghostly apparitions, phantom soldiers who still march, still stand watch, unable to leave their posts, even in death. Let's set the stage. Fort Leavenworth sits on the bluffs of the Missouri River, a strategic hub for westward expansion, bleeding Kansas and the Civil War. It's seen bloodshed, duty, and sacrifice. Over 22,000 souls rest in its national cemetery, including Union soldiers, Buffalo soldiers, and even 7 Confederate prisoners. And where there's history like that, you better believe there's something or someone still walking the grounds. One of the most famous spirits is tied to the cemetery. Catherine Suter. In 1880, her 2 children vanished during a brutal winter storm. Catherine searched for days, calling their names through the snow, but pneumonia claimed her before she found them. Tragically, her kids were later found safe, reunited with their father, but Catherine's spirit didn't get the memo. Visitors report seeing a woman in a calico dress and black shawl wandering among the tombstones, a flickering lantern in her hand. Some hear her voice, soft and desperate, calling out in the darkness. It's enough to make your skin crawl, imagining her endless search. Then there's the Rookery, the oldest building on post, built in 1832. It's family housing now, but don't let that fool you. Residents have reported apparitions, a young girl, an old man with wild hair, even a woman in a white dress who screams if you get too close. Legend says she was the wife of a cavalry soldier, tortured and killed during an attack while her husband was away. Her rage echoes through the walls, a reminder of the violence tied to this place. And let's not forget the Buffalo soldiers, members of the 9th and 10th Cavalry, African-American regiments formed in 1866 right there at Fort Leavenworth. They faced prejudice, harsh conditions, and brutal campaigns, earning their name from native tribes for their tenacity. Some say their spirits linger too. Witnesses have spotted figures in old cavalry uniforms near the barracks or the Buffalo Soldier Monument, standing silent like they're still on duty. The disciplinary barracks, a military prison until 2002, adds another layer. Tower 8, one of the few structures left, is notorious. Guards used to report a soldier who shot himself there. His ghostly form pacing the tower vanished when approached. The prison cemetery holds 299 inmates, 58 in unmarked graves, restless souls with nowhere to go. Picture it, a foggy night, the fort's old stone buildings looming like tombstones themselves. You hear boots on the gravel, but no one's there. A lantern glows in the distance, moving on its own. This isn't just history, it's a place where the past refuses to rest. I'm handing it over to Juniper for a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We've got more shadows to uncover.
Wow, Matt's got me checking over my shoulder with those Fort Leavenworth stories. Ghost soldiers and that poor Catherine Suter still searching? Chilling stuff. What do you listeners think? Are these spirits trapped by duty or tragedy? Stick around because Matt's diving deeper into the fort's haunted corners next. If you're loving the Shadow Frequency, hit that like and subscribe button and follow us on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook and all the major podcast directories. And you can find us at patreon.com/Shadow Frequency. And also, don't forget, we're doing show notes now there, so check those out. Right now, it's time for the mailbag. Gotta hit this button, though.
It's time for the Shadow Frequency mailbag.
All right, thanks, Chris. And this is where we hear from you, our shadowy listeners. Tonight, we've got a message from Terry in South Bend. Hey, I enjoyed all the shows on the Shadow Frequency. You guys never fail to give me chills. I love the Bigfoot Mount St. Helens episode. Those eyewitness stories had me glued to my headphones. Keep up the spooky work. Thanks, Terry. That means the world to us. Want to share your thoughts or creepy experiences? Drop us a line at shadowpodcast@protonmail.com. Now back to Matt for more hauntings from Fort Leavenworth.
Welcome back, Shadow Seekers. We're still at Fort Leavenworth, where the line between history and the paranormal is razor thin. The spirits here aren't just random ghosts, they're tied to specific moments, specific souls, and they've got stories to tell. Let's dig deeper into the shadows. One spot that keeps coming up is the old officers' quarters, especially 624 Scott Avenue, the Chief of Staff's house. No one's seen a full-blown apparition here, but plenty have heard something strange. A tea party of all things, glasses clinking, soft laughter, voices from an empty parlor. It's like stepping into a memory that's playing on loop. Some say it's the ghosts of officers' wives from the 1800s, forever hosting their genteel gatherings. Then there's the site of the old Ignatius Chapel, where a house now stands at 632 Thomas Avenue. Back in 1875, the original chapel burned down, taking a young priest named Father Fred with it. Those living in the new house have reported seeing a figure in priestly robes, gliding through rooms or standing silently in doorways. One family swore they heard chanting late at night, like a mass that never ended. The Civil War left its mark, too. Fort Leavenworth was a Union stronghold, training thousands at Camp Lincoln, soldiers who died in nearby skirmishes, or from disease which was just as deadly, were buried in the National Cemetery. Some claim to see misty figures in blue uniforms walking through the woods, muskets slung over their shoulders. One ranger reported a soldier staring at him from the tree line, only to vanish when he blinked. Are these men still fighting a war they can't escape? And let's talk about General George Custer. Yeah, that Custer. He was stationed here before his infamous last stand, and some say his spirit haunts the general's residence. Residents have reported cold spots, doors slamming, and a figure in a cavalry uniform pacing the halls. Custer was court-martialed at Leavenworth for mistreating his troops. Maybe he's stuck here wrestling with his own ghosts. What gets me is how these stories persist. Soldiers, civilians, even park rangers, people from all walks of life report the same things. Footsteps with no source, voices in the wind, figures that dissolve into nothing. Fort Leavenworth isn't just a fort, it's a time capsule, holding on to pain, duty, and unfinished business. Next time you're near Leavenworth, Kansas, take a walk through the cemetery at dusk. Listen closely, you might just hear the past calling. That's all for now, Shadow Seekers. Juniper, take us home.
And that's a wrap on another haunting episode of The Shadow Frequency. Fort Leavenworth's ghosts have given us plenty to ponder. Hope you're sleeping with the lights on tonight. Hey, before I go, I want to remind you, stick around right after we sign off here because you'll hear an ad for our contest. You want to make sure you get signed up by May 10th for your chance to win. Stay spooky, listeners, and we'll see you in the shadows.
Calling all Shadow Frequency fans. Enter our contest for a chance to win big. First prize, the Bigfoot book. the Encyclopedia of Sasquatch, Yeti and Cryptid Primates, the Real Unexplained Collection. Second prize, Squatch Metalworks, Bigfoot Playing Cards, a unique 52-card deck with illustrations and facts, perfect for Sasquatch lovers. To enter, email shadowpodcast@protonmail.com with your favorite episode of our podcast. Drawing is May 10th, 2025. Tune in and throw your hat in the ring.